He was selling for 2.4 million.
Okay, just the land.
Yes,
2.4
just
million.
land.
Okay, okay.
But you know what? How much he bought it?
How much did he buy it for?
50,000.
What's up, guys? Today we have special guest, Mary Seo. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Hi, Daniel. It's nice to see you.
So we just got done with a presentation that you did early this week, and you have this crazy product that I kind of want to share with our audience. Basically, the way it works is you can sell a house and pay no taxes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like whether, let's say, grandma bought a house, like in Hawaii, especially for in 40 years ago for $100,000, then she sells it for $2 million. She can pay zero in taxes, right? Is this this
it's
crazy
actually
product?
deferring the tax,
Deferring the
capital
tax,
gain
yeah.
tax, yes.
But at the same time, basically after you sell the house, you're deferring it, but you're not paying any taxes.
Right, correct.
And it's very different from a 1031 exchange. And you actually help people save 1031 exchanges after they've gone south.
Mm-hmm. So DST, Deferred Sales Trust, is an alternate way of doing a 1031 exchange.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with the exchanging with the real estate.
Okay.
It actually, you're setting up the special trust, DST, and then you put money into it, and then you allocate into the financial products.
So this is like very different than what people call a DST or a Delaware statutory trust, right? Yes. This is not that product, though. It's something completely different. It just has the same name, DST.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And so you can actually do this with stocks as well, too.
Yes.
So if you let's say like you invested when you were 10, and then now your stock portfolio is worth like $2 million more than it was before, then you can sell your stock portfolio, put it into the special Deferred Sales Trust product, and pay no taxes at the point of sale.
Yes, correct. You're right.
So how did you? I really want to break down the product a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So can we just, I guess, break down like how it works and like the kind of like the nuances of the strategy? Okay.
So for real estate, when you decide to sell the the real estate piece, then you actually need to plan ahead of time to setting this up, the DST, after you close escrow. So you prepare to setting up the DST while you're in escrow. And then once you close the deal, and your money from the escrow company, they will have to transfer to the Deferred Sales Trust. Okay. And then with that, you could allocate your money into different financial product. For example, mutual fund, bond, or annuity. Mm-hmm. Sometimes like saving plan life insurance is a big thing too. So that's how you actually.
So you can actually buy life insurance with that.
Right, you could do so. Yes.
So just to get this clear, it's so the way it works. So let's say like grandma bought a house for $100,000 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now she sells it for $2 million. Mm-hmm. The $2 million doesn't go into to her account. It goes into this trust account.
Yes.
And then there's a trust, I guess a manager of the trust.
Right, trustee.
And that trustee, they can actually allocate that to reinvest it, whether it's in the stock market, real estate, or even like a life insurance plan.
Correct. So typically we don't allow to have the clients to choose a stock because you don't want to lose your principal.
Yeah.
So with that reason, we want to kind of go with the something conservative financial product. Mm-hmm. So that's the options.
So, but technically they could choose it, but you like highly recommend them not to, so that they would just do something more safe, right?
Yes.
So. And then that $2 million that, let's say, grandma put in that normally, let's say in Hawaii, you're paying like 20% in like capital gains, long-term capital gains, plus another, let's say 10% in like state long-term
tax,
capital gains. And there's another Medicare. So you're really looking at probably like 35% of that $2 million.
Correct.
So in grandma's case here, she would probably be paying about $700,000 in taxes, right? Which is crazy. Like you sell a house and then like
you don't want to pay that.
Like that's a big tax bill to pay,
Exactly.
right? So you only keep like let's say like 1.3 million in this particular instance. Mm-hmm. But instead, you can put it into the trust account, and then the trust basically manages that $2 million for her, and then she can also like receive like dividends or something from that.
Yes, yeah. So there's interest. We call that interest. So whatever the product that you allocate into, you could collect the different percentage of the interest, and then you could use that money for as an income to live with. Or sometimes you just leave it there if you don't need it.
So let's say like in this particular instance, like grandma has the $2 million inside the trust account. Mm-hmm. What's like a typical return for, let's say, like the stocks or like that?
With my past experience with the helping other client with the setting up the DST, their return is anywhere from 5.5, to 12%, 14%.
Okay, like kind of the range and things. But let's say the grandma got less like 5%. Then on the 200,000, that comes out to about, what is that like per year?
10,000
for
200,000.
200,000. So 200,000 would be 10%, so $100,000, and so basically she'd be at like $100,000 salary. Basically, that she'd be pulling from that $2 million like lump sum,
correct,
and then that $2 million lump sum would stay there.
Yes.
And if she wants to pull out from that $2 million, can she also pull from that as well too?
Yes. If you touch the principal amount, then you have to pay for that portion of the capital gain taxes. Yeah. But other than that, if you just want to use for the interest portion of it, then you don't have to pay capital gain tax. But that considered as an income, so you have to pay income tax.
Active income tax. But then for that $2 million, then she can basically, like, if she needs like extra amounts, like, hey, I want to take out another 100,000. Now she pay the capital gains tax on the 100,000 itself. Correct. But then the rest of the 1.9 million would stay in that trust account.
Exactly. Yes.
And I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot to unpack here as far as like the nuances of this thing. Can you actually, let's say you buy a life insurance policy with that $2 million, can you borrow against a life insurance policy tax-free?
Correct. So like just typically give an idea, like, and if there's any saving plan life insurance, you probably heard about the whole life, universal life, and now the index universal life is a big thing. So average return of the index product of the universal life is anywhere from like 6 to 7% in that range. Each company product is slightly different, but let's say you actually compounding those money with the building up the cash value inside of the life insurance, you could actually loan your money, cash value, to use it without paying tax.
So this is kind of like I feel like it's like a real kind of hack. I think a lot of like the more rich people do this, the wealthy, where so what they do is, let's say like they have the $2 million in the trust.
Right.
Let's say like just for simple math, you bought like, so say a $500,000 policy. Obviously maybe it might be spread out over like a few years.
Yes.
Now you have a $500,000 cash balance in that policy. You can borrow from that money. Basically like you're taking a loan from it, but like so you can use the money. Let's say like you'll pull like a $50,000 a year or something, right, for the next 10 years. So you're borrowing this money, but then like you don't pay any taxes because it's a loan.
Correct.
And then when the policy expires or down the line, the policy will pay back the loan for you.
Exactly.
So then it's kind of like a ninja way to actually access your equity without actually paying any taxes.
Right. So with that case, you end up not paying capital gain tax because while you live in that, for your lifetime, if you loan the money, we use the tax code 7702A.
Okay,
and
I'm glad it's cool that you know the actual tax code.
Yeah, so by using that tax code, you could actually have an access for not to paying tax to use the cash value in the life insurance. Now, when you put $2 million worth of the premium, then you're not getting $500,000 death benefit. It's going to be huge, right?
At one point, it will get like, but
like
it's also
more
compounding.
Than $2 million,
it's going to compound over the years too,
so
right?
What I'm talking about the death benefit of it. So when you pass away, if you assigned it the beneficiary will get the money, and then the person has to pay the capital gain tax portion, but you're actually getting the life insurance for without paying tax of the death benefit. So paying that is nothing, for that $700,000.
This is like, I feel like this is very hard to conceptualize without like having like a presentation or something to actually see it visually. But basically, just to kind of break it down simply is, let's say, so grandma sold her house for $2 million, right? Let's say she bought a $2 million life insurance policy, right? You're going to probably pay it over like $200,000 a year over the next 10 years or something along those lines. And then now that life insurance policy, let's say the death benefit is $8 million or something, like it's going to go up over time, right? Then at that time, during that time, the cash value is going up. So let's say the cash value gets up to, let's say, like 1.7 million or something along those lines, whatever. And it's also compounding over time because it's gaining interest. Then grandma can borrow from that amount, tax-free, right? From that life insurance policy, live out the income, like let's say pull $100,000 a year for the next 30 years, whatever it is. And then after when she's done, or when she does like go to heaven, then her beneficiary would receive the
$8 million death benefit,
and half
tax free.
part of that death benefit would go to paying off the loan, that the money that she took out, so maybe like $2 million.
Yeah.
Another $2 million would go to pay the capital gains or whatever that is. But then the rest of that would be like a huge sum for the person who would be inheriting that money.
Yeah, you got it.
So I mean, it's kind of crazy that I've never heard of this before. I mean, I've heard of whole life before. I've heard of like the index, like universal life. I've also heard of the like not paying taxes with like on seller finance, so you only receive money like slowly. You pay taxes on the amount that you receive, but I've never heard of a company having like a trust to hold the funds, like so you don't pay taxes at all when you sell the house. You know,
correct. You end up not paying tax. It depends on how you plan it,
how you structure it, right?
Exactly. Yes.
But it's also like, so this thing is like when you sell the house, let's say like that. I'm using Grandma's example again. Yeah. So like the $2 million sale, she could actually take a portion of that upfront. Let's say like $200,000 upfront, pay the taxes on the $200,000, and then put the $1.8 million into this account, and then have that like just work itself.
Yeah, you could do that. So some people, they wanna buy like $1 million worth of the property. And do the 1031 exchange, and then the rest, $1 million, they put to DST.
I see.
Only thing that you have to watch out to doing a DST plan is that your capital gain has to be minimum $500,000.
Okay, why is that?
That's just the law.
Is it a law or is it the product itself?
No, DST is a special trust, right?
Okay.
So with that regulations of the law they require to have a minimum capital gain of the $500,000.
Oh, interesting. I thought this was because like because of the fees of the lawyers who are going to be taking the percentage, like they want a minimum amount for it to be worth their time.
No, not really.
But it's part of like the tax code. Okay. So then in order for you to qualify for this product, you have to have at least $500,000 worth of capital gains in order to put away.
Right.
Okay. And so I mean, this product, sometimes it almost seems like a little too good to be true.
Yeah, that's what I said at first time. Yes.
What is the cost to use this product?
The cost can be like, the one-time fee that you set up with the trust attorney for setting up the DST. So based on that $1 million, for example, then they charge 1.5% of the fee one time.
So for every $1 million, it's about 1.5. Well, $15,000, right?
Yes.
So 1.5. Okay.
Yeah. But second, that if you have $2 million of the capital gain portion, the second $1 million, you get a little bit of discount. So it's like 1.25, if I'm not mistaking it. So that's what they're charging it. But once you set up, you actually going to have the trustee. So trustee is like having a property with the proper manager, right?
Got it.
So
they're going to manage the money for you.
So exactly. So you could consider that trustee is like a proper manager types of person. So they manage the fund for you. Yeah.
So then so like when you, let's say like in Grandma's case, you did the $2 million trust. Then at, let's say 1.5% around there, you pay about, with this small discount, about $25,000 in fees just to set it up. And then after that, is there like a annual fee or anything?
Trustee charge for the fee about 1.5%.
Okay.
So whatever the amount that you actually put it into, you could calculate it about 1.5%.
Got it. So it'll probably be another, let's say like $20,000 a year in just like fees just to maintain that account. Hopefully it also go up in value on like, because you're investing there, right? So like let's say at a 6% return, then it's going to go up in value. $2 million will go up in value $30,000.
Yeah, see that. So when we, introduce the product.
Wait, sorry. So $2 million at 6% is it $120,000?
$120.
Yeah. So if it goes up at 6% at $120,000, then you're paying $20,000 in, let's say, like the management fee. It's still going up positively over like that.
Of course. So that's why I said earlier, when you choose a product, we don't recommend it to have the client to choose a variable product, and at least like 5% and up. So that even though you pay for the trustee fee, you could make it like, whatever the return.
I see.
But like I said it, like, when you come up with the investor to talk about the the project with the real estate investment property, they say, what is the cap rate, right?
Yeah.
So I see this cap rate is considered as like what kind of interest you getting, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. To compare.
So it's really interesting. What can you like diversify the portfolio with there? Like, listen, so you can say like 90% is safe, and then 10% I'm going to buy crypto or something like that.
We don't require to have a crypto, but like I said, bond, mutual fund, annuity,
something aggressive, over there. So.
Something fixed. index product or like, fixed products.
Got it. Just, I mean, it's also like the goal of this thing is like kind of like longevity and to kind of pull it out over time.
Correct.
But then would this work for like, let's say a fix and flipper?
Flippers?
Yeah.
That's going to be a little tough.
Okay.
Yes. Because this is like, again, whatever that you're making a profit, like doing a 1031 exchange, you don't want to have a real estate deal to exchange it, and then this is just the exit plan for doing a 1031 exchange, like I said in the beginning.
Does it apply to short-term capital gains? Or
you could do short-term. Yeah, with the
okay.
flip property that you made a gain, you could still do it.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is if you're going to, a lot of flippers, they actually want to flip,
I mean, I'm just thinking of this out loud, right?
Okay.
So I'm just thinking like, let's say there was one project that had like a lot of profit in it, right?
Okay.
And then like you're kind of planning for your own retirement is, let's say this profit is going to make like, let's say $500,000, right? So then you're going to have the $500,000 plus capital gains that you can roll over into this product. And then you're paying no taxes on this thing, right? But it's sitting there. And then because when it's sitting there, now you take out the whole life insurance policy on that. And there's a way for you to actually access your funds while you're still living and like and you're enjoying the fruit of your profit without actually having to pay profits on that particular project.
Yes, you could, yeah. So like earlier, going back to the question with the flipping property, you made a profit, minimum 500,000 on the capital side. Yes, you could do the DST.
Okay.
Yeah. And some people, they were asking me previously when I did a seminar a few times, they like to reinvest their money with the trust name to the real estate, and you could also do that. You cannot do it 100% of your money, but you could partially put it on the side once you set up the DST, and then you could purchase the real estate property.
Wait, so can you break that down a little bit more? So you have the DST set up. And when I say DST, we're talking about Deferred Sales Trust,
yes.
Not the Delaware Statutory Trust, right? So DST
that is out of
completely something different,
picture,
right?
yes.
So we're doing the DST, our DST, and then you have like the money in a trust
Let's say
account.
Going back to the grandma's case that
so
you were talking about. So $2 million is in there.
Okay.
So you allocate that $1 million into the mutual fund.
Okay.
And maybe half of that $1 million, maybe 500,000 to the annuity.
Okay.
And with that other $1 million, you could actually purchase the real estate piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can actually have real estate within the trust itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you able to use any loan products for that?
You could when you purchase the let's say using the $1 million as a down payment, and then you could purchase $2 million property, long as you're qualified for the loan financing.
I feel like there's so many ways you can take this thing.
I'm
just hearing about like the product now. I just like you kind of got my wheels turning. There's so many ways to be creative with this.
Right. So one thing, the uniqueness of this DST is that how we talked about this as a part of the exit plan of 1031 exchange. 1031 is only good for second home or investment property, this one you could actually use for the primary home.
I see.
Business sales, artwork, stock.
Oh, really?
Yes, everything.
So this is not just a real estate product. It applies to stocks. Everything, it applies to artwork. So basically, whenever you're taking making a big chunk of money long term, then you basically can use this product to basically defer or like hide or whatever you want. It's a loophole not to pay taxes on the sale of the new thing. Because I mean this is a big deal because like I'm just wondering if there's a way where you can there's a lot of people who have like big stock portfolios, right? And so like let's say you sell for like a huge gain, and then like you want to put into real estate. Typically, if you were to do that, there's no way to like put your stocks directly into real estate.
Right.
But in this particular case, it seems like you use the DST, the trust, and now you can basically transfer all the profits from your stocks, tax-free or tax-deferred, into real estate. And now, or you basically can go back and forth as much as you want, right?
Exactly.
It seems like.
Yeah. That's the uniqueness.
So what are the cons or things that you need to to watch out for?
Only thing, if I have to say this, you cannot really do step up with the DST.
Okay, like a step up in cost basis.
Yes. So that's disadvantage of it. Some people, they want to bring the wealth over the time and then pass it on to the next generation and then generation. But this one, you cannot do it.
So, I mean, the thing you're talking about is, let's say grandma, going back to grandma's, she bought the house for $100,000 and then it's worth $2 million. Normally, if she never sells it and she dies or she passes away, then her kids inherit the new house at the new valuation of $2 million.
Right.
And if they were to sell it at that point in time, they pay no capital gain taxes.
Correct.
But then in this particular case, if grandma put it into the trust, then if the kids were to inherit it and then sell or trying to receive that money after the sale, they have to pay the capital gains at the $100,000 cost basis. Okay. So that's like one of the disadvantages. But if you did the whole life policy version,
that's a different
where like
story.
then like now like you wiping this all out with like because of death benefit and all these other things, right?
Yeah. So I normally don't bring too much on the life insurance policy for planning side because there's a lot of benefit that you could get actually, but a lot of people, some people they're negative on the getting a life insurance and all that. But if you think this is right, how you got it, you could actually making up money.
The thing is it's like yes, when you stock the products together, like like just one by itself, and so like in my opinion, like this product is amazing by itself.
Yes.
But then like you lose a death benefit on the when you pass it to your kids, and you can't take the money out tax free.
Right.
But then when you stack it with whole life or one of these like cash value policies, now you can actually pull out the cash tax free, and your kids can basically get like a big chunk when you pass away without having to worry about paying the capital gains.
Right.
But then like each of it by itself is great, but it's not as powerful as when you combine them together. Because typically with whole life, it takes a while for it to like kind of build up in value, and then also there's a lot of fees and stuff involved with that. But then when you stack it with this, like the cost savings you're making on the capital gains more than outweighs all the things like together,
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just thinking. So this would work with stocks. It works with artwork. It'll work for commercial properties, for multifamily properties as well too. Basically, anything as long as you're making a big exit.
So my first case client was he actually sold the land.
Okay.
I actually was a listing agent.
Okay.
I'm a realtor. So I did it, and then I did mention to him in the beginning, do you want to do 1031 exchange? And I could manage the multi-unit property.
Can you tell me like how much was the land that he was selling?
At the time, the first one that was like a couple years ago, and that was like he was selling for 2.4 million.
Okay, just the land.
Yes, just land. Okay. But you know what? How much he bought it?
How much did he buy it for?
50,000.
So this is grams exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So he bought it for 50,000. He's selling it for 2.4 million. Okay.
Yes. So after paying broker fee and escrow title fee and all that, he had to pay a lot of tax. Capital gain tax. So I did offer, to do the 1031 exchange, and he said, no more real estate.
Okay.
I don't want to be in a headache as a landlord and all that. So he decided to do the DST plan.
Okay. So he actually, this was like one of your clients who actually did the DST plan from like
and he's
an
so
actual
happy
sale.
with that.
What did he invest?
He invested. He didn't have much of the choice because he was like 78 when I met him.
Okay.
So he did a fixed product of the annuity.
Okay.
And there's two different company product that he did. So one was a 7-year term of fixed rate was 5.9%.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And then 5-year one was about 6.5 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's basically getting like close to like 6% total off the $2 million. Exactly. And so which is like about $120,000 a year.
Right.
Okay, very nice.
And
then that's like, and then but the $2 million also stays like intact, right? It's not going down, or it's actually going up in value.
He didn't actually touch the money yet.
He's just taking the interest.
No, he hasn't.
Oh,
so he's planning to do. He was matter of fact that he was. His daughter was calling me a couple of months ago.
Okay.
They wanna taking some money to doing the remodeling their home.
Okay.
So I said I'm gonna help them, but so far they haven't touched the the interest
interesting.
yet. Yeah.
So I mean, another thing that you talked about is that this can kind of actually save 1031 exchanges. So typically with the 1031 exchange, I know we're going over like a lot of very like nuance and very specific things, but the way a 1031 exchange works is, let's say grandma again, right? So she bought the house for 100,000, she's selling for 2 million. She can 1031 exchange that $2 million house for another $2 million or $3 million property and defer the taxes to the next thing, right? But typically there's a few things, you have to have within 45 days.
Yeah. So once you close the escrow, we count that official 0 day.
Okay. This is for the 1031 exchange,
right? Yeah, 1031. Right? We talk about 1031. So 0 day, and then within the 45 day, 0 to 45 day, you have to identify 3 different property. Okay. Which one you want to get? A, B, C.
Where you're gonna defer the taxes or buy after this, right?
Right. So if you get that one of them from the ABC, then that's great. You could close a deal in 180 day, which is 6 months.
So there's 2 timelines you have to worry about. There's like the identifying 3 properties within 45 days, and you actually have to close on it within 180 days, right? Okay.
Which is in 6 months, right? Okay. So if you could do that successfully, then you're fine. You exchange it, you're deferring the capital gain tax. You don't have to worry about it. But I had a few cases that client couldn't make a decision, or there was too much problem with the purchasing, exchanging property. So they were thinking too much, and then they lost the time, timeline. So they couldn't do it. Okay. So I had 2 in the past experience. I had 2 clients that they had end up have to pay the capital gain tax. Okay. But I saved some of the client that they knew how the DST works too.
Your DST, right?
Yes, DST, Deferred Sales Trust. So they actually failed to do the 1031 exchange within the 6 months, but they end up decide to go with the DST. So I helped them to setting up the DST.
So you can actually, so this is really interesting to me because like typically on a 1031 exchange, once you hit the 180 day mark, now you're donezo's, like you have to pay the capital gains tax, right?
Right.
But this DST product that you have, not the Delaware Statutory Trust, the Deferred Sales Trust, they can actually transfer from the 1031 into the DST and not pay any capital gains.
Right. In that case, that money has to sitting in the 1031 company, the third company. Okay. You cannot put it in your money into your account.
Yeah, you can never touch your account, right? Yes. So when the 1031 exchange, in a 1031 exchange, after you sell the house or the property, it goes into a QI, is a qualified intermediary. Basically, somebody else is holding the money to complete the 1031 exchange. Right. As long as you never touch that funds, you can transfer that into your DST and basically let's say, I don't want to do the 1031 anymore. I'm going to do the DST and still pay no capital gains.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are out here and realize this, but like, I think there's a lot of people out here who think like, okay, once my 1031 is done, like there's no other option for me. But there actually is an option with a product like this.
This is an option, yes.
You said you've actually saved a couple people from 1031?
Yeah, I did. 2 people, they actually failed to do 1031 exchange, so they actually changed to DST plan in 180 days. Yeah.
How many of these have you done, or how many do you typically do in a year?
I don't have much of the big transactions. Okay. Because as a 20-year plus experience as a realtor, mostly I've been helping with the residential business opportunity. But I have some big clients who's an investor. And this day, for the last few years, I've been working into the multi-unit, purchasing the multi-unit and doing the 1031 exchange outside of the California too. I see. So that's been what I've been doing it. But this would be perfect for any real estate owner as an investor to do the DST plan to defer the capital gain.
How did you discover it? How did you come across this product?
So yes, I have 2 career options. I'm a realtor and then I'm a financial planner. Okay. So as a financial planner, I've been working for over 10 years now. Okay. And I got into this kind of a planning side of the business because that a lot of people, they were questioning for the tax matter when they sell the property. And not only that, I have business owner, they pay too much tax, because they run the business so well. So I get to have experience about 11 years ago. I personally got tax audited.
You got tax audited yourself?
I personally did it. I didn't do anything wrong. My husband is W-2 employee. I'm a 1099, but it just happened. Yeah. So at that time, I've been interviewing with the different tax attorney, tax strategist, financial planner, and all that. I didn't have anything. I just
So at that time, you're a realtor. You weren't a financial planner at that point in time.
Right, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I opened my eyes in the financial industry.
But then once you got audited, now you're talking to all these different attorneys.
Exactly.
And it opens up the world of you didn't even know these things are possible.
Yes. That's how I learned. Okay. And then as I've been practicing in the financial side of it, I've been focusing more into the real estate tax planning side and all that. Even though I'm not a CPA, I work with the CPA, tax attorney, and then tax tax strategist. So we work as a team.
I see. So and that after you got audited, it kind of opened your eyes to like the world of financial planning and like the different kind of tax strategizing. And then at what point did you come across this particular product?
A couple years ago, I noticed that there's a DST, and I thought it was a DST with a Delaware structure, but it's a different option. So I said, wow, this is good, because I, as an investor too, sometimes I'm having a hard time dealing with the tenants and all that in California, because most of my property in California. So I say, wow, if I want to exit it out, this would be great. So that's how I ended up studying, and then a couple years ago, I become a certified person for the DST.
It's funny that you say that, because I mean, us being landlords too is like I think when you see the landlords on social media, they make it sound so easy and so great, but there's always kind of drama. There's always challenges, repairs or like bad tenants, evictions, different things, and so. I feel like there's a lot of landlords I know who are like, I'm so tired of being a landlord. If I could just transfer my equity from my landlord, my real estate into stocks and do nothing, I'll be very happy. But there's no vehicle that allows you to do that. Except this is a vehicle that allows you to transfer real estate into stocks.
Not the stock, but
or mutual funds,
planning,
whatever. But basically, you buy stocks, right? Index funds or something. So it's basically it's basically like passive without any tenants, right?
So you're in Hawaii, and mostly lives in California too, but. California and Hawaii is a landlord-friendly state.
Oh no, it's tenant-friendly state.
I'm sorry, tenant-friendly state. Sorry, I'll take back. So with that, information, this is another option.
We've had to evict people before. It like takes over a year to evict it, and it's like they just don't pay rent for the entire time. You know? So it's difficult as a business owner to make your business run when there's no income coming in. So.
Last 1 year, I'm also owns a property management company. And managing the properties for the clients. But last 1 year, I did 6 evictions. Oh, wow. So as an owner, I'm used to it. But as an owner, it's going to be a headache for them too. Like,
I mean, it's expensive. There's and it's just like emotional challenges. And it takes away from the other things you're doing, because you have to go to court or these different things. And so it's just like a big mental drain, I'd say. Right. But on the other side of those things, there's a lot of stock investors who see real estate and I would love to turn my stock portfolio and then buy some real estate. And this particular product can actually help them do that as well too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you can it's like this vehicle that can turn your real estate into stocks.
Right.
Or you can turn your stocks into real estate if you enjoy paying.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Correct. Yeah.
So I mean okay, so just to kind of break down the product a little bit more, it's there's at the point of sale, what would be the steps to, I guess, if we want to use this, can I call a company? Do I call you? What's the best way to kind of get this started?
Well, you could call me. Now know me that I'm doing this. I did a presentation from one of the groups. So you could contact me. But only thing that you have to watch out is that you as a client, if you decide to do the DST, you plan ahead of time. Okay. So before you listing the property, you want to talk to me. Okay. To make sure, because the timeline is very important. And when you're going to do this setting up the DST, typically it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to set up the DST.
All the documents and things and everything.
Yes. So we have to have everything in advance.
I see that timeline and things. So if you sell it too quickly and you don't have the DST set up, then you're kind of out of luck at that point too.
So once you close escrow, you have money sitting into your bank, then it's too late. I cannot help with the DST program.
What's so I feel like Hawaii and California are very good candidates of this because there's a lot of capital gains that are over 500,000. But is there any other clients or avatars of people who would say are a good fit for this product?
Yeah, like I said, investors who owns multiple, the properties, but then they want to exit one, selling the one property to cash it out, and this is a good example. Or some people, they want to be once not having a headache with that as a landlord, then this is a good option to taking the DST plan. Only thing that I have to say this, because you remind me of the statewide, the California and Hawaii, yes, it's a good state to know about this DST plan as an investor and or the homeowner. But Washington State is only a state that I cannot cover.
Why is that?
Because from the state of the Washington, then we haven't proved it from the statewide. Federal-wide is okay,
so
but
it's kind of like marijuana, or like it's basically it's where the federal laws allow it,
exactly,
but then the state does not allow it.
Only that state.
I see. So Washington is the only state that you can't do it in, but any other state you can do
Yes.
that. Oh, very interesting. And so, but I think so. Like another case might be like a business owner, right? Like let's say like you're selling a business, and a lot of times when you're selling a business, all of that is capital gains, right? Because you start out for so little, and so this is a way to exit a business and transfer your business basically into stocks or into real estate if you wanted to as well too.
So this was 2 years ago. The case was that I was helping the client. He's my investor.
Okay.
He owns a commercial building, and he's been using that commercial building to gas stations and then the little deli shops. And he bought this property about 15 years ago for $1 million, but he was selling for $5 million for the building side.
Okay.
Business side was a $900,000.
Okay.
So that $900,000 he did an owner carry. So for the 5 year he had a break because he's not collecting the $900,000 until the fifth year is ended.
The balloon in the fifth year.
Yes, exactly. But the building wide, he was going to do the 1031 exchange. So I helped him with the doing a 1031 exchange, but then he didn't like it. Okay. The exchanging property. So he ended up doing the DST. So he's very satisfied.
You saved the 1031 into the DST for the building.
Right.
Okay.
And the business that I was talking about, that $900,000 that he sold it for, next year, actually, it's going to be fifth year. So he's going to come to me to
do the DST as well, too?
Yes.
Oh, that's really interesting, too. So, like, this is like another, I guess, like, interesting kind of scenario is, let's say you're selling something on a balloon, right? Where it's like you made an agreement with the buyer, and like they're paying you, let's say, like small amounts. And then on the 5th or 10th or 7th or 3rd year, there's going to be a large lump sum coming in. At that point in time, we can set up the DST, transfer those proceeds into the DST, and still not pay taxes like that.
Correct. So if you kind of research the DST actually formed with the instrument sale of IRC 453 tax code.
DST, we're talking about the Deferred Sales Trust. I just want to reiterate this because people are going to get confused with tax code. What is tax code?
453.
IRC
code 453.
Okay. And what is that tax code?
So that's the instrument sale.
Okay, installment sale.
Yes.
Okay.
So based on that information, the DST came out. So it's been existing for 27 years, and I got to know this DST almost 7 years ago. But it's been out there and practicing. So a lot of people have been using it.
Yeah.
It's just that me didn't know, or for you just.
Yeah, I feel like I knew all the tax the little tax loopholes and things around, but like this is something I've never heard of before. That's why.
Believe it or not, a lot of accountants they don't know about this either.
No, I mean, I've talked to a lot of accountants and no one's ever brought this up too. So this is really, really interesting. Another thing you mentioned was that you can actually roll a bunch of different ones into one sale.
Yes.
So like because there's a $500,000 minimum, right? But you can sell like 200, 300, and let's say 200 as long as it's in the same tax year. Is that
tax year? Yes,
so,
exactly.
And there's if your tax year is like a calendar year, then it's a calendar year. But if your tax year is, let's say your fiscal year is July to, is there?
No, actually, it's a year of let's say you're selling 3 property.
Okay.
This year, then it's from the January 1st to December 31st.
Okay.
Escrow has to close. And then when you're filing the tax for your income tax next year, then you have a capital gain of all 3 with the 700,000.
Yeah.
That's how.
So as long as they all roll in the same year, you can transfer them together into the trust, and they can meet the minimum $500,000 requirement. Okay. Is there any other things you have to do when you're selling? Like, how would you set that up? So you said.
No, it's a normal transaction. You don't have to do anything special. Yeah, just like I said, you just have to know in advance that you're gonna do the DST, setting up the DST, so you wanna have it, plan.
Got it. And then when you're talking to the attorneys and these things, is there like Like, what if you decide you want to do it and you change your mind? Like, is there like any fees, or what does that look like?
There is no fee unless if you start. Let's say you start to doing a DST and then had a consultation. Consultation first time is free.
Okay.
And if you decide to do DST, he's gonna help you. What's the step that you have to take. After you're closing escrow, and he or she's gonna communicate with your escrow company. So you don't have to do anything. And let's say you change mind for not to doing it. Maybe you want to pay tax. You want to get to collecting the, money. Then that's fine too. Okay. But you end up paying capital gain tax.
Okay, I got it. Okay, that's really interesting. Is there any other tips or things you would give us as far as either using this or with the 1031 or with tax savings?
No, not really. But a lot of people, this is kind of new to them. So. Yeah. I help my client to have so many meetings dealing with myself and also tax strategists and finalize with the tax attorney. So before you talk to the tax attorney to setting up the DST, at least the average I have 5 to 7 meetings with the client. So they meet
with you over and over to kind of understand it, break it down.
Even though I repeated myself, it's okay. I want them to understand. If the client is too old, I ask their spouse or family member to come join for the meeting so they understand. It to them, yes.
Because I imagine nobody has really I've heard of doing this before. There's gonna be a lot of questions and a lot of confusion or things because what you think you can or cannot do with this, right?
Yes. So they have to understand. They have to be. They have to know, what they're doing. Right.
What's kind of the common misunderstanding that people have when they're trying to do this?
I didn't have any client issue with the misunderstanding part of it, but people who's older, who has a lot of assets, so his age are average, for my case, average 70 and above, right? So I normally require to have the third party person to join the meeting from the day one. So I don't want to repeat 10 times, 20 times, wasting their time, my time, So
I see. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Is there any kind of challenges that you face when you're going through this process as the operator?
Not really, because once they decided, and once that tax attorney get involved to setting up the DST and all that, because of the maybe language barrier, then we have a translator. But other than that, they're very straightforward to planning.
So it's pretty smooth as far as all the charts. There was never a hiccup where somebody did something. Because when you buy a house and then someone's they buy a new car or something in the last minute and screws
especially
up.
First home buyer, right?
Yeah, right. So you don't know. So there's all these things where you don't. It's is there anything that can screw up their transaction they're just not aware of? That they could do. Do you need to have a good credit score for this?
No.
So
you don't need it.
Your credit score is not involved.
Okay. It's just all about the money.
Okay.
How much of
as long as you have enough capital
gains. First thing that I asked is what's the cost base amount.
Okay.
And then how much you're selling it.
Got it.
And if you're qualified for doing DST, then let's talk. That's the next step that I.
And then as far as let's say you're selling your primary house, we have exception of either $250,000 for a single person or $500,000 as a married couple. How does that play into the capital gain number?
Okay, so going back to your example, the grandmother case. Okay. So she bought the $100,000 4 years ago, and then now you're selling for $2 million. Okay. Let's say that grandma has a spouse live together right now. So you get a tax deduction of exemption of $500,000. Okay. So $140,000 is what you need to pay capital gain tax based on, right?
1.4 million.
So 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 million.
Sorry, 1.4. Yeah. So with that, then we have to calculate what the capital gain tax to cash it. But if they want to set it up the DST, then we could. So as long
that 1.4 is what has to meet the $500,000 requirement. So if let's say you're selling, let's say another number. Let's say you bought a house for $200,000 and then you're selling it for, let's say, $1 million. And if you have a $500,000, normally it's $800,000 capital gains. But because $500,000 exempt, then now you only have $300,000 capital gains
but
officially.
You cannot do DST.
So then that's why the DST won't apply. Okay, that makes sense. Any last words of advice for somebody who's trying to do this or figure out understand more about this thing?
I mean, you have to understand, for how that DST works. So I'm always open to discuss about the DST plan if you're interested. And I'm always available with the Zoom meeting or in person to, discuss about this. And there's no fee. So, don't afraid to talking to me or one of my partner. So we could, help the client in advance.
Well, I think we'll have some people reaching out to you after this. And
yeah, that would be nice.
What's the best way to contact you or to get in touch with you?
Phone 916-271-3671 is my number, but I do have my number too, 808-666-8288.
Are you on social media, Instagram or anything?
Yeah, I'm on the Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay.
You can find me. Yeah.
You have a website or anything?
I do have a website, maryseo.com.
Okay, very, very cool. Well, I mean, thank you so much, Mary, for your time.
No problem.